My topic is actually the digital tools, especially in the context of NEP 2020. Let me tell you what is that happening today and why these digital things are very important. So before I actually start my presentation, let me set a context for this talk. See, pedagogy has changed over the time. Even you, whether we believe in epics or not, whether we are secularist, communist, it doesn't matter. But pedagogy has changed over the time. So from the literature we see, maybe in the earlier Yuga, which was actually called as some Treta Yuga or whatever, before that, the pedagogy or the learning system was people used to, rishis used to do penance and get the knowledge. So what was the teaching learning methodology? You do penance for some time, you get the knowledge from some this one. So that was the kind of pedagogy. Then in the time of this Ramayana, the pedagogy was basically question answering. If somebody has read what is this Ramayana, the first sloka of Ramayana says it is actually the question answer by the Valmiki and the Narada. And the first question was describing the quality of a teacher. Tapaswadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidamvaram. In the sense, he describes the quality of a teacher. Means a teacher should be an orator, a good orator, and he should be a continuous reader. Okay. So he should, then the writing part came only in the next phase. Actually, till then, the pedagogy or teaching learning was Shruti. You listen and you reproduce. Listening was the main kind of teaching learning process. Then came to the written form. The first written form came in the Yuga, whatever it is, Dwapar Yuga, where Maharshi Vyasa wrote Mahabharata. Or he categorized with. So the written form, the knowledge dissemination in the written text came only during that period. Then in the recent, you see, up to 90s, the printing technology was very costly. Textbooks were not available so freely. So it was very difficult for any individual to learn from the textbook. So they were mostly dependent on teachers and their notes. So therefore, students used to sincerely attend the classes, take the notes, then reproduce in the examination. So basically, the pedagogy was remembering the things because of the lack of resources, learning resources in the form of printed media. So now you see, after the invent of this web, the students are getting a lot of information. There is nothing that is not available in web, and without web, even for us, teaching becomes very difficult. Even the teachers, let me not even including myself, nowadays we have stopped doing PPTs on our own. What we do, you copy from some places, we put everything in some systematic manner and we try to give. So now this is the kind of context where you are supposed to teach. Now teaching, the teaching learning is a real challenge. So therefore, the government, everybody are pushing towards deviating from a traditional learning approach to a kind of blended learning approach or hybrid learning approach, where more emphasis is actually given for learning rather than teaching. What is that? The more emphasis is given for learning. Our objective is to make the students to learn. So you have to make the students to learn. Your duty is to make the students to learn, not to teach everything on your own. So now because there are so many resources available on the web, there are so many educational resources that are available, printed in print media, or in the form of videos, text, and many other things. Now you collectively use those resources and make the students to actively participate in learning through many other modes. It is not only teaching. And again, learning nowadays is not something that we used to think of rote memorization. We are not talking about memory. We have to go beyond this rote memorization and talk something that is required, or do something that makes the students to learn and apply. So in this context, the NEP has set a tone. So my talk is of two phases. First, I will talk in the context of NEP, because NEP has made that there is a requirement of artificial intelligence and educational tools. I will talk first, then I will talk about some of the tools that we can adopt in our teaching learning process. So before we start, just to understand the audience, if you have any questions, you can ask me, so that I can orient my talk or questionnaires with respect to that. If anybody having any questions, you can put it in the chat box. There is no issue. So the questions, I will take it from the chat box, and I will try to answer in between. There is nothing that you have to wait till the end. You can keep posing the questions in the chat box. So let me start my presentation. My screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very much visible.
Yeah. So first we will talk about, as per the NEP requirement, what are the AI and digital learning? What are the challenges and opportunities that are the part of NEP 2020? So we will first talk about that, and then we will move on to the next part. So what is this artificial intelligence, where it is now, why it is now required in education, where it is going? So first we will talk about this digital learning. AI, because even the NEP talks about this, therefore I am stressing much on this. AI is what it is, programming a computer to perform a task that traditionally is only possible with human intelligence due to its complexity. Okay, I am giving you a very bird's eye view of AI so that you will understand where it is used. For example, summing the numbers from 1 to some 10,000 or 1 lakh billion. This sum is not complex, easy for the computer, but for human beings it is very difficult, right? Similarly, if you have thousands of MCQs and you want to grade, again it is not a complex, easy for a computer, probably it is difficult for a human being. Here also there is no AI required. For example, where AI is required, if you want to grade 10,000 words essay on one Shakespeare's work, 10,000 words essay on one Shakespeare work, it is complex. It is difficult even for the computer and not difficult for the human being. So therefore, whichever is difficult for a computer and not too difficult for an expert human being, but if it is a time consuming process, there AI is required, and especially when the number is too much. If you want to grade 500 essays, where each essay is 10,000 words on Shakespeare's work, computer cannot understand what the essay you have written. It is only 1 minute. मैडम मैं ये क्लास ले रहा हूँ बाद में जाओ आप एक बार आप से बात कर दो कर दो okay so here AI is required. So there are two main types of AI. One is strong, or it is also called as general AI. It can perform general intelligent action, and this is the AI of robots which are talking over, and we are fairly a long way from this. We are not worried about the strong AI. Okay, we are very much away from this AI. Okay, and next is the narrow or the weak AI. Okay, so weak AI is where now we are. Computers are beating. For example, you see people play with the computer. They are beating people. The computers are beating people in chess. Go champions. There are hundreds of other examples where computer beat human being. Okay. So these AI effects, for example, video commands on phone requires AI. For example, voice commands. You know, you have Alexa, so you need not actually now type anything. What you do, you ask Alexa anything, she will give you. Alexa will give you everything. So you need not even memorize. The servers that run AI algorithms on the cloud, they require your voice commands. Examples are Alexa, Google Assistant, and so on. Then you see Google Translate from any language to other language. Google will give the translation. It is not just a simple dictionary operation. It uses artificial intelligence. Facebook image tagging uses the artificial intelligence. Facial recognition uses AI. Okay, so like that, there are so many interesting methods. Now computers are doing human tasks. In 2013,
Rachel, चाय पिला दो.
yes.
चाय.
In 2013, a system called KNIT, which has read, please see, there was one system called KNIT, which read almost 1 lakh research papers in 2 hours. Is it possible for human being? And by reading those research papers, it is given by looking for the information on a protein called P53, in which suppresses tumors in humans, specifically looking for the links that implied undiscovered P53 neosis. And the investigators proposedly only let the computer to read up to 2003. So now in doing so, KNIT identified 7 of the 9 neosis discovered by human after 2003, and also found that there are 2 unknown to the science in 2013, which had been discovered at all. So how good AI? Google, for example, Google trained an AI on millions of images on the internet. All it did was it learned, it saw thousands of building, birds, etc. Now Google is able to give you what is AI, what is, sorry, building, what is bird. So for example, you see here, now what happens when the input is not random or static, but there is a real photo. So the trees, so people are making now the art is not the way you write it using your pen and pencil. It is called digital art. What is that? So so computers can create a lot of digital arts that you can identify. You cannot identify whether it is a computer generated art or a human written art. Yes or no? That is how the graphics and other things are coming up. So for example, people are using this AI for skin cancer detection and many other things that all of you know that. Then there is a 2 sigma problem. In 1984, every one of you know that the educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom found that a mastery learning approach helped the student by more than 1 standard deviation. So now when combined with personal tutoring, this increased to 2 standard deviations, a so-called 2 sigma effect on the performance. What is that? It is a 2 sigma effect on the performance. So now when you categorize the students as high or low achievers, was almost entirely incorrect. So what we do in when you do sigma performance, the students performing in the 50th percentile in a traditional classroom can perform in the 98th percentile with mastery learning plus one-to-one support. This is what, see, those who are average, you are taking them to above average. Those who are below average, you are bringing them to average. So what it is saying, students performing at 50th percentile in a traditional classroom, it was found that they can perform up to 98th percentile with the mastery learning plus one-to-one support. That's what they found. If you are giving one-to-one support. So personalized tutoring and mastery learning, both are problematic. So the farmer is extremely financially expensive. Personalized tutoring and mastery learning, it is again temporarily expensive. Therefore, the 2 sigma problem was what could be done efficiently at scale and be as effective as mastery based personalized tutoring. So the 2 sigma problem says what could be done efficiently at scale and be as effective as mastery based personalized tutoring. So for much of the last 25 years, AI education community has been focusing to a large degree on solving 2 sigma problem. Okay, moving towards what is 2 sigma? One is personalized tutoring and another one is mastery learning. Moving towards creating a systems that are as effective as human one-to-one tutoring. Unfortunately, much of this has not extended beyond the scholarly. That is the major problem. So how is artificial intelligence in education is working? AI holds a great promise for education. AI education investigates learning wherever it occurs in a traditional classroom or in the workplaces in order to support formal education as well as lifelong learning. It brings together AI, which is self-interdisciplinary, and the learning sciences. If the sciences may be education, psychology, neuroscience, linguistic, sociology, anthropology, so on, to promote the development of adaptive learning environments and other AI education tools that are flexible, inclusive, personalized, engaging, and effective. So now at the heart of the AI education is the scientific goal to make computationally precise and explicit forms of educational, psychological, and social knowledge, which are often left implicit. Okay, so this is very important. Sorry. So usually you just, why AI education is you take a picture of classroom 50 years ago and compare it to today classroom, how it is looking. Very easily. See, for example, if I've asked people that they wanted, they have said that they said faster horses. So Henry Ford always said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Now we need to break free from our factory model of educational system, and we have to take a big change. We need a revolution that could be the application of artificial intelligence in education. What is there in AI today? In the last decade, artificial intelligence and adaptive technologies have begun to mature, making both mastery learning and one-to-one instructional methods, making more scalable from what Bloom has ever imagined. And however, these technologies are yet to coalesce into widely adopted systems to facilitate teaching. This is more important. And to a large extent, This is because our existing educational models and systems are stuck into our traditional forms, hindering a true adoption of AI systems. So that is very difficult. And there are, however, been a major strides in technologies to help teachers currently teaching in traditional modules, particularly in freeing up their time so that they can tend to task much human intelligence. So last year, um, Ashok Goyal at Gorgia Tech, he used a AI program called Jill. Okay, he used an AI program called Jill. And what is that Jill? He was a teaching assistant. Actually, it was not physically existing. The Jill was actually a teaching assistant. And the program replied, this Jill program, which was a artificial intelligence based teaching assistant, it replied to the student email queries regarding assignments. It was based on IBM Watson AI platform. It trained almost 40,000 postings on a discussion forum to reply to similar questions based on prior responses. Jill had a confidence level of up to 97%. Most of the students were surprised when told that Jill was a computer program. So next year, Jill should be able to answer 40% of all the student questions. So where is this AI education today? In developing smart contents, intelligent tutoring systems, virtual facilitators and learning environments, then virtual and artificial reality tools. AR, VR in education is highly used. Then intelligent mining of student data for things like predicting performance, improving the performance, customizing admissions, learning pathways and learning models. But there are some kind of infancy people. Then what is the ethics and bias? The ethics of using AI education is very, again, important consideration. Now imagine that an AI-based automated grading assistant that upon inspection does not really good job of grading your students' work. For example, the data is on what data the student assistant is trained on. If the data is from female undergraduate students of Canada, okay, also who labeled the training data? It was not you. The assistant is learning from their subjective opinion, not yours. So these are all some of the ethical implications. So what will be the education soon? Free of teacher time. Now teachers don't have too much of time, so that they can tend to do tasks from human intelligence is still required. Complement the existing learning analytics, providing just-in-time information about learners' success, challenges, and needs, which can be used to shape their learning experiences. Help the learners gain 21st century skills by helping us to develop reliable and valid indicators to track learners' progress, including characteristics such as creativity and curiosity that are notoriously difficult to measure. Provide new insights that are difficult or impossible to ascertain from traditional assessments. For example, the data set could help the teachers understand how the learners arrive at answers, not just if they are selected the correct one. AI education will help us to do away with stop and test approach that pervades the assessment. Stop and it should be continuous assessment. As I progress, I should be assessed. Instead of traditional assessments, which they rely on small samples of what students have been taught, AI education driven assessments will build meaningful learning activities such as games and collaborative projects. What AI education will do as a little later than soon, embody the new insights from learning sciences to allow us better understand the learning process, provide learners with lifelong learning partners, address the achievement gaps, enhance teachers' expertise, address teacher retention and teacher shortages, deliver solution to this 2 sigma process. So basically now you have already used AI. So, but AI tools and implications are coming to education and coming fast, which is actually required for NEP 2020. So, will AI replace teachers completely? No. Crucially, we do not see a future in which AI education replaces teachers. What we do see is the future in which the role of the teacher continues to evolve and eventually transformed. One where their time is used more effectively and efficiently, where their expertise is better deployed, leveraged, and augmented. So within a decade, AI will have a transformed school and university life and will give a biggest boost to social mobility of our society. Okay, so ultimately combining the best of human and machine for the benefit of the learner is the true goal of AI in education. So now what is this digital learning? How AI can be effectively used in digital learning? See, which is very much emphasized in NEP. Digital learning is any type of learning that is accomplished by technology or instructional practice that makes effective use of technology. So, learning in digital environment is characterized by what you mean by the provision of learning materials that are independent of time and location by a broad access to learning materials. Okay. And the students are increasingly in their studies, they will study in blended mode, flipped mode, or online mode with significant proportion of learning activities they undertake occurring in digital environments. So, for example, there are so many cartoons. You can just go through these cartoons for a minute because cartoons should be read by individuals. Right? So again, while many fear that AI in education means robot teachers, the reality is less dramatic, but potentially still transformative. So AI is impacting on educational contexts in many different ways. There is a need to understand about AI's ethical issues as well as the wider potential impact of AI on the society, which is increasingly a pedagogical responsibility. What I'm trying to tell you, there is a pedagogical responsibility for schools, colleges, and universities. And the multiple uses of AI also raise a number of ethical questions like bias, privacy. For example, some AI powered recruitment systems have shown biased against women. When we are simply going about our lawful businesses, it is right that our faces are automatically recognized and compared with the faces in the database of criminals. So there are three categories, AI categories for digital learning. There are three kinds of systems. What are the three kinds of systems? System facing applications of AI. Here, the tools that are designed to support an institutional administration functions. Okay. Then, for example, this might include AI to support and analyze students' use of institutional virtual learning environment. Then student-facing applications of AI, tools known as intelligent tutoring systems or ITS. Which presents students with some information related to learning exercise and often a quiz or a test or so on. And again, we have a teacher-facing applications of AI, tools designed to support teachers to enhance their own teaching. AI teaching assistant will give teachers smart access to relevant information and will help them to manage their classroom. There is a post-humanism It is called post-humanist activities of digital learning. What is this post-humanist activities? It is the idea of moving beyond human, viewing humans as being the center of everything, and considering how human will fit the wide spectrum of existing. Computers and robots are being used experimentally as the means of supporting learners. As I already told Jill about the Jill, okay, in 2018. So you see, this was the this one, and when somebody asked the question, this Jill answered their question so clearly. Okay, so the Jill correctly answered that there are 15 minutes of time limit. Okay, so what are the challenges, post-humanist challenges for digital learning? What principles can help distinguish increasingly intelligent or representational forms of teaching assistant from teachers, students, and from the world around them? What is the role of teacher, student, and perhaps the human being with more complex world consisting of social, material, artificial elements, and all interacting perhaps inseparable from one another? Does the work completed on our behalf or for our benefit by non-human instruments change the nature of knowledge or knowing? So when a student uses a smart tool to speed up substantially the process of writing an assignment, what are the long-term effects of such actions on the student's learning process of the education and so on? So people are thinking of online laboratories for digital learning. An online laboratory is what? It is an interactive environment for creating and conducting experiments. The lab could be accessed through web as the program running on a computer, either in classroom or at home. And the aim is for a student to experience the procedures of carrying out an experiment, including the consequences of making mistakes, and get the results. So lab can provide the students with hands-on investigation and opportunities for direct observation. So there is something called OLabs by Amrita University. It has been developed. OLabs. Then is a virtual lab. There are so many open STEM labs. There is a PH laboratories. There are so many such kind of labs. So there are online laboratories for digital learning, like how to build simulations for virtual microscope as recognized as a difficult problem. The production of simulation software has always been highly specialized application area. And there is a need to ensure that the learning designs for the lab-based practical activities make the best use of such potentials. Then coming to proctored online assessments, how it happens. Remote proctoring of online assessment, how do we actually evaluate the online sheets? There are so many such kind of softwares have come. People are moving towards such kind of things. There is something called online help, examhelp.ekalavya.in. Now, can this digital learning preserve the teacher-student relationship? With the high quality resources now being freely available online and an ability to acquire the information anytime, there is a need to refocus on the value of the campus experience, right? So now assessing the opportunities using the knowledge in meaningful ways that has improved through the increased use of webinars, wikis, and there are so many collaborative tools. However, the capacity to interact with the qualified experts and see them model the process of applying the knowledge is very difficult to capture. So therefore, digital simulations, virtual role plays, virtual reality environments are beginning this bridge to bridge this gap. But how much these environments can and do emulate the application of knowledge and provide access to the expert application is an open question. Now, with this understanding, what is happening in the rest of the world, how people are using AI, digital learning in campus, we will see what is the technology use and integration, online and digital education as per NEP 2020. So here you see the India is a global leader in ICT and in other cutting edge domains such as space, Digital India campaign is helping to transform the entire nation into a digitally empowered society. Hello. Yes. Yeah. We go with it. And Digital India campaign is helping to transform the entire nation into digitally empowered society and the knowledge economy. And educational technology will play an important role in the improvement of educational processes and outcomes. So now we should know the relationship between the technology and the education, which is called bidirectional. Okay, and extensive use of technology in teaching, learning, removing the language barriers, increasing the access for Divyang students, educational planning and management are the important things. See, please see, teaching, learning and evaluation process, supporting the teacher preparation and professional development, enhanced educational. So there is a trust for technological intervention for streamlining educational management and administration, removing language barriers, access to Divyang students. So there is a requirement of technological interventions for all these things. So what are the technological interventions? One is use disruptive technology, AI, 3D, 7D, virtual reality has emerged. Extensive research is needed in new technologies involving AI, machine learning, blockchain, smart board, handheld computing devices, adaptive computer testing, and so on. And before scaling up the invention, the use and integration of technology to improve multiple aspects of education should be rigorously and transparently evaluated in the relevant context. These are all the part of NEP. So the emerging disruptive technologies are artificial intelligence, robotics, 3D, simulation, and others. So there is a requirement of National Education Technology Forum to categorize the emergent technology based on their potential. And Ministry of Education is recommended NRF to take National Research Forum to further research on the identified areas, and you have a NRF. Okay, what is that? NETF, National Education Technology Forum. They advise central and state government on the use of technology in education. They build intellectual and institutional capacities in ET. They articulate new directions for research and innovation. So what are the technology use and integration? This one, there is a teacher professional development in Diksha platform. Diksha Swayam will be better integrated across school and higher education. So to promote and expand this Diksha, as well as the education technology innovatives. So teaching, learning, e-content upload into Diksha platform and also accessible to Divyang students and so on. So similarly, there is an NRF, advancing core AI research, advancing international research efforts to address global challenges, then developing and deploying application-based research in the sectors like healthcare, agriculture, and climate change. So what is the role of HEI? They play an active role in conducting research on disrutional versions of instructional materials, courses, including online courses, assessing their impact on specific areas. HEIs will conduct targeted training for job readiness and address skilling, de-skilling, scaling, keeping in view of disruptive technologies. Universities will aim to offer PhDs and master programs in core areas such as machine learning and multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary areas and professional areas like healthcare, agriculture, and law. So schooling and continuing education will assist the rising general populace awareness about the potentials and effects of disruptive technologies to facilitate informed choices and consent. The study of current affairs and ethical issues will include discussion on disruptive technologies, appropriate instruction materials, and discussion materials. And it is critical to raise the awareness on the privacy law standards, ethical issues associated with AI-based data handling and data protection, and other disruptive technologies that are expected to change the way we live, and others they change way we educate. Students include those relating to clean and renewable energy, water conservation, sustainable farming, environmental preservation, and other green initiatives. So NEP 2020 recognizes the importance of leveraging the advantages of technology while acknowledging the potential risks and dangers. Carefully designed and appropriately scaled pilot studies to determine the benefits of digital and online education, optimizing and expanding the existing digital platforms and ongoing ICT-based educational initiatives, using technology for online and digital education adequately to address the concerns of the quality. So this is the online and digital education challenges, online assessments on scale becoming screen-based education, bridging the digital divide, limitation of delivering certain types of courses and subjects in online, unavailability of open and public digital resources, digital competencies of the teachers to meet further need, and so on. Okay. Hello. Madam. नहीं मैडम वो ऐसे नहीं बोला था वो पीयू कहा देता है वो एक बार लेटर लिख सकते हैं वो एक बैच का एक सेमेस्टर पीछे चल रहा है बट वी कैन ट्राई वी विल राइट अ लेटर हाँ वो 20 हाँ 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 वो मैं देख के बताता हूँ हाँ ये क्लास So similarly, there is an online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. So here, suitable teacher training to prepare teachers as effective online educators is required. Availability of affordable computing devices to eliminate digital divide, optimize and expanding digital platforms and ICT-based initiatives, online assessment in different approach, changing in pedagogy for online and digital education, blended approach with online and experiential learning, provide assistive tools for monitoring the progress of diverse group of learners, invest on creation of open, interruptible, evolvable public digital infrastructure, provide a two-way audio video interface for holding online classes. Educational programs should be made available in 24/7 in different languages, leveraging existing platforms for creating virtual labs and so on. So these are all the key initiatives by government, like pilot studies on online education, digital infrastructure, online teaching platforms and tool, content creation and digital repository, online assessment and examination, virtual labs, blended models of learning, and so on. So these are all the implementation plan, conducting the research on disruptive technology and current status of ICT implementation in school teacher education institutions, continuous customization of architecture of digital education platforms at national level, design and development rollout of MOOCs for students and teachers with policy of evaluation, dissemination of digital content through multiple modes, collaboration and coordination with national and state level institutions for convergence. So these are all some of the implementation. So with this, we will stop the first part. The challenges are, there is a challenge of transitioning to online at scale is very difficult and highly complex undertaking for educational system. Highly motivated learners, especially those with previous experience in online learning, most likely to take the most advantage. Okay. Hello, sir. हाँ दीक्षा को भिजवा दो ना बस हाँ So then organizing digital educational content to align with existing curriculum, making content available in a wider variety of devices and mobile friendly critical, supporting the use of low bandwidth, including offline solutions. Staff teaching online need to be supported. Okay. And these are to conclude, we have seen how the requirement of NEP and what is happening on the West. So with this, the complex social environment of physical and virtual classroom will continue to raise the issues and problems at that will necessitate investigation. And anyway, whether you want it or not, you have to work with this one, right? So with this, I will just stop for a while, and I require people to ask some questions so that I can move further. Then we will have some tool demonstration so that it will be interesting for you. Any questions, you can put it on the chat box.
Or you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Any
Yeah.
questions to sir?
Anything you can ask, so that after 5 minutes, I will move for some tools demonstration. We will take a very specific topic of this in the first stage to implement flipped and blended classrooms. And I will demonstrate you how we can effectively implement using some tools. Okay.
Hello.
These tools are freely available. There are some tools which are freely available. For example, AICT has recently launched an AI tool for translations into different Indian languages. Okay, so there are certain tools that are available freely. You can just go through, but not all the tools are free.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
हेलो
हाँ, yes sir.
अभी अभी आपने बताया कि जी रोल ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में.
Yes sir.
Teacher, what type of mindset do you expect to have to get tuned with this using of the artificial intelligence?
You are asking with respect to teachers or students?
Teachers.
Mindset of teachers or mindset of students?
Mindset of the teachers.
Teachers. Sir, I will give you the chronological order of our teaching community, how we have come across. Sir, you please see, when during 90s, I was always telling that classroom teaching was the very much important. We used to go for, many students used to go for tuitions, and home tuitions were it was actually at its peak. Many people have become billionaires by making tuitions. Now you see, in last 2 years, same tuition is becoming one-to-one online coaching. One-to-one online coaching. Nowadays, the students don't want to be with the crowd, and they want to learn in an individual way. So, individual one-to-one learning will take up now a priority over this group learning scenario. That is one. The mindset we should now. I will give you another mindset. See, teachers have a mindset that we have to do our duty by go to the classroom and teaching. So we have to come out of that mindset. Our role is now from teaching to make students learn. The students need not learn in the classroom only. You can actually put a lot of materials, and you can use a lot of instructional materials, web-based materials, and many other things, and you can make the students to learn on their own. Unfortunately, we are so much duty conscious, and we will always feel that if we teach in the classroom, our job is over. But now our job is not over just by teaching. We have to ensure that the students have learned whatever we have taught. So our mindset, see, and also we have a fear. And unfortunately, now you see this teacher has, especially in the higher education system, they are not meant only for teaching. Teaching is only 50%. Rest, you have to do research, you have to do consultancy, you have to do a lot of extension programs. There are so many activities that a particular teacher has to do. It is not just teaching. Apart from that, there is an administration. So now when you have very less time to teach, but still you have to make your students to learn. So use the digital technology, use it like a facilitator for you. Don't use it like a replacement. The digital technology is not a replacement of teachers. The digital technologies are the, what you say, the facilitators, or they are the accelerators in teaching learning scenario. So therefore, use it like a kind of what we say, a support system for your teaching. Definitely your job will also reduce. You will have an online documentation. Your the proof of your work will be actually recorded online. So everything will be there, which is very difficult to do otherwise. So I hope I answered your question, sir.
हाँ जी, शुक्रिया जी, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Are you able to
Yes.
listen my voice?
Definitely, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, but to what extent this digital classrooms or these websites are practically helping the students in colleges and schools, and how many are aware about this artificial intelligence concept, and how this is promoted among the higher education institutions is not up to the mark?
Yes, sir. I agree. I will give you one scenario.
This is only because
One
Bangladesh
scenario
we are
of
aware of
education.
things.
Hello.
Otherwise, we would have not thought about this artificial intelligence or online education at all. Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Actually, there is a problem. Sir, actually, the problem is, you may know that. Do you agree? I think Tirumala Rao, Dr. Tirumala Rao. Do you agree that?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Is my voice clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
now it's clear. Now it's clear.
Sir, do you agree that every of our class consists of three types, broadly divided into three types of learners? Fast learners are very good students. There may be 20% fast learners. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then there are some average learners. They are actually around 50 to 60% average learners.
Yes, sir.
Then around 20 to 30% below average students who don't have any interest in studies or whatever it is. They are just coming to your college just by parental pressure.
Yes, sir.
So now what we are doing, we are putting all these three in the same classroom and you are teaching. So now what happens? These three, when they are put together, they don't have any motivation because one will disturb them. There is some disturbance. I request people to mute if you are not speaking. So now, see this very good students are there, which you think that they don't require too much of classroom teaching. Why do you actually force them to sit in?
Sir.
You can give a good assignment for them. You can make the students to be the part of your research. You can make those students to be the part of your consultancy project. You can make the students to be the part, take them as teaching assistant to teach the lower grades. So that you give them some intellectual work so that they will have it. So
second one.
Away from your classroom. Then coming to the average students who require certain amount of effort from you, so that, as I told you, they will move from average to above average. And problem is with the below average students who are not at all interested to study. So your more attention is actually required them. So you come out with some technology. Similarly, these digital technologies learning can be very good. They can be very well used or exploited by these above average and average students, you cannot enforce the same for these below average students. They require human attention. So you should categorize your students who can learn independently, who requires your effort and your attention. So those who can learn independently, give them a good exposure of these digital learning scenarios. Sorry, class चल रहा है, 2 मिनट. हाँ. ठीक है sir. So that is what we, as you told, they are all in their infancy stage. Nothing has come out as a successful model, but it is coming. See, unfortunately, we have to think of future. So it is coming, and now in the last 2 years, we have seen how better our students and teachers are adopted. Whether they are really learning or not, that is another issue. That we have to take a survey depending upon the scenario. But we are moving. People are started accepting. Nobody is agitating your what you say, online classes, right? So therefore, it requires. So you are the best judge to decide whether you want to teach them in this one, or you can actually put them in the digital space. Okay. So therefore, teachers have to take these decisions. Yeah. Any other questions? Sir, hope my answer is clear to you. Any questions?
Any other question? Participants, you can ask directly to sir. Unmute yourself.
These are all with respect to policy. We will have some tools and other things later. First, we will have a policy based questions.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, madam.
So can you hear me?
Yes, definitely.
Sir, I wanted to ask,
Ah,
we are focusing a lot on online learning and internet-based tools. So how
Yeah.
do we integrate peer-to-peer learning while we are using internet-based tools?
Madam, peer-to-peer learning, let me give you an example. Peer learning can be very well implemented. Peer learning is not your, see, can you give me a best example of the peer-to-peer learning? It will be done in projects. Peer-to-peer learning will be best implemented in projects. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So peer-to-peer learning is something which requires a group of students put together to learn a specific task. So in online mode, these are all some of the very, as you rightly pointed out, many things are not possible in online. That is, one is peer-to-peer learning. But there are certain tools that are coming, like you may be aware of these, what you say, podcasting, blogging, and podcast, blogging, and these are the two, wiki pages. So these are some of the digital tools that are available for peer-to-peer comments, peer-to-peer learning, and other things, but they are not so effective as which is done in case of projects. So these are some of the limitations of online learning.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I got the answer.
Fine. Any other questions? Otherwise, we will move to the next part.
Sir, one question from chat box.
Yeah. Is there any that I answered, sir? Any other question? There are any two free tools I have already told in the beginning.
Sir, Mr. Pramod Goyal is asking one question.
What question, sir?
Do you think online learning is degrading cognitive power of learners?
Question answers, right? Achha, 1 minute. I will see the question answers. Is online learning? Can you just tell, sir? I am not able to see his question.
Do you think online learning is degrading cognitive power of learner?
You cannot see, as I told you, it depends on what type of learner is. Online learning is very good for self-motivated students, and online learning is equally bad for the students who lack motivation. This is my answer. So it is very good, and people are picking up, and those who are self-motivated, those who want to learn by themselves, online learning is the best place, and it is really improving their skills and many other things. Whereas it is the worst for the people who are not motivated, who need human intervention, teacher intervention, and parent intervention. That is my answer.
Sir, one more question from Uma Madam.
Yeah.
How can we engage students to interact in online classes?
You have to use lot of engagement technologies, like you use for every, after 5 years, after 3 to 4 slides. Unfortunately, I have also not used it. Is easy to say, difficult to practice, but we should start. Like for every 3 to 4 slides, you ask some polls. You can have some polls. Hope even in the this one there is a poll. So you have some polls in between. For every 3 to 5 slides, frequent polling, frequent quizzes, online frequent instant quizzes. You can use poll everywhere as a part of your slide, and use some online quizzes in between your lecture, so that you will find out how many are really participating. Now I will show you one tool where I will demonstrate you. I will show you that not even 10% of the people are really listening to my lecture. Okay, so you have to use such kind of polling software, online quizzes in between, to ensure that the students are actually listening to you in online classes. Right?
Any other questions?
Yeah, now I will demonstrate one tool. As you told, I will demonstrate one tool where, see, now what we do is, usually we give videos, and we ask the students to go through the videos. How do you ensure that the students are really going through the videos? So in the chat box, can any one of you write in the chat box, can any one of you write to everyone, to me, any of the video, your video that is uploaded in YouTube? I will give you how to make an example of video lesson. Can anyone, is anyone here have prepared your video and put it on the YouTube? I don't know, my chat, I'm not getting message or what. Chat.
I have made you co-host, sir. I think you can.
Acha,
See,
now I can. Can any one of you have made any video and put it on YouTube? I will make a video lesson in front of you for your own video. If you have made a video on any of the topic, you give me the YouTube link. That is what my question is. Link is not there? So chalo, I will demonstrate with whatever it is. See, what you are supposed to go to Google, go to TED Edu or ed.ted. So what is this ed.ted? It is a place where you can create your own video lessons. So you can sign in. Either you can register with your Google Gmail ID or sign in. I have already registered with my Gmail ID. So go to the Gmail ID. So now I will continue. There is nothing in the chat. Yeah, somebody has given some email link. I will copy it. Fine. Thank you, Sangeeta madam. So now I will create one video lesson. So I have put the YouTube. Madam, this is finding initial basic feasible solution to a transportation problem. This is the video madam has created. Okay. I will continue preparing a video lesson. Somebody else has created. I have already taken madam. So it is basically now 26 views and 16 minutes. So let us begin. This video is on transportation problem, right? And think, I will see some of the multiple choice questions I will put so that the student should be able to answer whenever they do it. Okay, so what are the multiple choice questions? Is non-linear? I will say yes, no. Answer is yes, maybe. So the hint for this question may be somewhere here. I will save it. I will add one more question. Solution is the exact solution. Yes. Maybe. So the answer, let it be maybe. Okay. So the hint may be somewhere here. I don't know. You just give. Then one open problem. I will ask one open question. What is can transportation problem can be solved using LP? Some open question. Think deeper and give real time scenario of transportation. Some questions I am answering. So finally, thank you. So now I have created one video lesson. Fine. Okay, so I want to publish this video lesson. I don't require students to use TED accounts. I want to share. Now I request all of you. Hope I am sending. Please log into this. Hope you got. Please log into this TED, and when you log in, you will go somewhere here. You just drag this video. It doesn't matter you see or not. You drag this and answer these questions. Go to think. Go to think and answer. Then go to the discuss. So right side, you do something this and start doing this. I will give you 5 minutes time. Please go to the link that I have pasted. Hope all of you got my link. Go to this link, go to the lesson, answer. It may be right or wrong. Here I will come to know exactly how many students have answered, what is happening. So I will give you the exact the number of people who are really attending now, are attentive. I will give you 5 minutes time. Please go to this link. Okay. And answer the question.
Sir, I answered.
Sir, I also answered, but in the third question, it is not allowed me to write any answer in the box.
No, no problem, no problem. I will see how many have you answered. I will show you.
I answered only one question, sir.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, for third question number 3, I cannot write anything, sir.
So no problem. It is just, you see now how many people have answered. I am showing you. Archana Naik madam has answered. Akansha has, don't worry. If you are not able to do, I might have not given, don't worry. Radhika Kiran madam, Zinat madam, Ankita Gupta madam, Babas Das. See, please see, all your results are here. Yes or no? Is there anybody whose name is not there?
No, sir. I can see my name. Thank you.
See your name. So now,
Yes, sir. My name is also there.
yeah, sitting here, I am telling you how many at least have opened the videos. Now I got the statistics. Yes or no? So within 2 minutes, I came to know how many people have seen my video, how many people have, see, you have to give the questions in such a way that only by seeing your video, they should be able to answer. So then this is how, now you got the statistics that people have watched your video, how many have watched your video, how many have written the correct answers, how many have participated in discussions, how many have written some open answers. All these things are here. Fine. This is a free tool. Anybody can use it. See, what I'm trying to tell you, this is how you can make the best use of the technology to ensure that what you say, you are participating, right? See, very good. This is a very good FDP organizers. I am very happy because I am seeing almost so many people are here. Very nice. Very nice.
We are glad to know that, sir, people are participants are participating.
So you can take this list. So they are active. So many, in the sense, what I'm trying to tell you, like this, there are so many such kind of tools. Okay, you can use. This is actually for creating video lessons. There is a similar version you can use and put your own video without putting in class. Similar, there is no much change. Yedu puzzle, you can write. I will type it in the chat box. Yedu puzzle. Similar version, but slightly, I think, I don't know how much it is free. This is also there. Similarly, it will work. Okay, you can directly, in this TEDx, you cannot directly upload your video. You have to put it in YouTube then only. But in Yedu puzzle, I will show that also. Okay, is it clear now? Shall I log out from this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't know, somebody already know about Edu puzzle. Anyone has know about Edu puzzle here? You
I have
can
heard about Ed puzzle.
huh?
I've heard about Ed puzzle, but I'm not sure if it is same as that.
Edu puzzle, I will just show you that.
Sir, can you please explain that how do we present a graph,
Graph.
graphical solution if I want to show something using this?
This is not for graphical presentation, madam. It is for creating a video lesson. It is called video lesson. See here,
Okay.
it is very much used for implementing the flipped or blended classrooms. Here you have given the video and you have asked the students to see the video in the night. Whether the students have really seen the video or not, how do you know? So this is the tool that will tell you this is the
How we can, yes, sir, understood that how we can stress the students that if they're seeing the video or writing anything else or not.
no, that's what I have shown you. No, here I have got the list. I have shown you the list that how many of them have seen the video, how many of them have answered the queries. So you got the report that how many of them have seen and how many.
Can't hear anything. Is there a voice problem, audio issue?
Yes. Am I clear? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are clear, but sometimes audio goes very low and sometimes audio goes very louder. I guess that might be a Zoom issue.
Acha, acha, acha. Okay, fine. So this is the video lesson. Actually, here you will get a report whether the students have really gone through your video. Please write it. It is useful for implementing flipped or blended classrooms. Okay, I will show you that Edu puzzle also. Go to Google. So here you can add the content, like I can add upload your video. You can upload your own video, you can record your video, or you can discover. Please see, now I will put somebody else's video here. Let me check. See, there are three things. You can upload your own video, which is not uploaded in YouTube. You can record video here itself. You can, so here we can discover the video content in YouTube. For example, I will put it here. Somebody has created a beautiful animation. So now, so now I will stop. I will add a question here. What is pestle? I don't know what is this. I will just find out what is this pestle. So now I will just save like this. Then again I will continue. I can add some open-ended question here. Save. So like this, I can. You can even make a voiceover. So now I will finish. I can add this. I can assign this video lesson even to your Google Classroom. For example, I have created a Google Classroom. I can assign this class. Okay. So now see, there are, so I don't know here, I cannot give because you are not joined this Google Classroom. You see, once it goes there, this video will stop exactly at 0.10 minutes to ask multiple choice questions. Please see here. Yes, I know all of it. So now it has stopped. It will not go further. Till you answer, it will not go further. So now I have submitted. Yeah. Now it will go further. So then only when you answer, it will continue. Hope did you understand? You can further explore. This is also one of the tools. Fine. So now I think we are already coming out of time. I have one meeting exactly at 12:20. I will have some questions. Yeah. Can we have some questions now? Last 10-15 minutes. See what I'm telling you, there are so many such kind of tools for you. So tools for online quizzes, tools for polling. There is a poll everywhere. You can use them for this one. Okay. Like that, there are a lot of such kind of ICT tools. You can use it as a kind of medium for any such tools for live session. Live session means the Zoom is an example for live session. That's all. Live session only through this, they are called video conferencing tools. Tools for live session or video conferencing. That's all. I will just paste some of the tools here. You can go through 1 minute. I will paste the tools. Yeah. I am pasting all these tools in the chat box.
Sir.
You can just go through. So many tools are there. You just copy it.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Tell me, madam.
Sir, how can we encourage students to whether they are listening to us or not? How can we encourage to listen to us, sir, during these online?
You cannot test whether they are listening or not. Even in the classroom, you cannot test. No, you can. What we do? You use this poll everywhere. Frequent polling. You will come to know who is actually. There is something called COHI. Here I have written. Please see in the right side. There is one. Padlet, TED, Socrates, Mentimeter, Thinkercad, FAT, Kahoot, Kahoot.it. It is basically an online game-based quiz. You can have such kind of quizzes so that you will come to know who is the student who is participating in the quiz.
Can you spell the
It is, madam, in the chat box. Please check your chat box. I have put all the tools on the right-hand side.
Okay.
So many tools I have put, I don't know exactly. You please check what each tool will do. All the tools are actually, I have put it in the chat box. You can go through that. There are so many tools available.
Sir, they all are free. They all are free.
Not all are free, madam. So to some extent they are free. After that they will charge.
Okay. Sir, should we download?
No downloading. They're all online. You cannot download. These online tools are not for downloading. You have to use it in the internet only.
Okay.
You have to use it with internet online. They are cloud-based tools. For example, I will demonstrate you one. last two, sir, the organizers, sorry, I may have to leave by 12:20. So last tool I will demonstrate. Please permit me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can.
So there is something called Padlet. So it is for sharing. For example, for open discussion. So for example, I have already using your Gmail, you can, I will create some kind of, I will make a Padlet, something like this. So you can customize this Padlet. So now,
Sir, what is this Padlet?
it is for collaborative use. I will show you. One minute. Subject is your feedback on digital learning. I have published. Yeah. Please start writing. I will share this to you. Copy the link to the clipboard and I am sharing it to everyone. Go to Padlet and write whatever the feedback that you want. Go to this place, write whatever the feedback that you want. I will come to know what is, write your feedback on digital learning. I will show you here only. See, many people are doing very nice. You can write your feedback in the way that you want. It will be stored here. Very good. Don't praise me. Okay, it is not for that. Just write your some negative things about this digital learning. It is not always good. Everything will not always be good. We should not prize everything just because they are there. So now you see, I am able to see all the feedback here. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So you can have different kind of post and ask the students. So immediately
Yes, sir.
now I will come to know how many are actually, I can see here, how many are participating. So in between your class, you can do this. So that you will come to know what is your feedback, how many of them are participating, so that they will write.
Can we see their names also, sir?
You can, here it will come. 1 minute. In the session, actually that comes in paid version. You can make their names, but that comes in the paid version. Unfortunately, I have lost all my quota for all these things. It comes, I think, in the paid version, but money is also not very much. I think it is here. 1 minute. Here it is there. You please, there are, I have made anonymous. That is the major problem. You can see their names by making not anonymous.
Sir, when I use Padlet in my class, I ask my students to type their name first and then write the
But
comments.
they may not type their name, no. If they want attendance, they have to type their name. But
Sir,
in the
they
paid
generally
version,
do, sir.
I know in the paid version, you can actually get their name also. So that is not an issue. So fine. Security is always an issue with digital media, fine, but we are not handling any payment and other things. No, it is just the information, fine. Thank you. I think now I will stop this. So